Hi, Thriller Recaps here. Today I am going to explain the movie Ip Man 4. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy this. The movie begins in 1964. Ip Man receives some distressing news about his health, as he is diagnosed with rapidly spreading cancer and advised to quit smoking. Meanwhile, a man named Billy comes to Ip Man's martial arts school and, after a scuffle with one of Ip Man's students, offers him a ticket and invitation to Bruce Lee's karate event in San Francisco. However, Ip Man declines the offer and tells Billy to inform Bruce that he cannot make it. Later, Ip Man's son, Ip Ching, gets into trouble at school and is expelled, prompting the principal to suggest sending him abroad to study. That night, Ip Man packs his bags for an unexpected trip to America to find a school for Ip Ching. He asks his friend, Fat Bo, to look after his son while he's away, but Ip Ching expresses his passion for kung fu and their disagreement leads to a heated argument. Ip Man arrives in America the next day, where he is picked up by Liang Zhen and driven to meet Chairman Wan. Ip Man and Liang Zhen visit Chairman Wan's office, where Ip Man reunites with his old friend, Master Law. During the meeting, Chairman Wan and other martial arts masters express their displeasure with Bruce Lee for teaching kung fu to non-Chinese individuals and writing a book about Chinese kung fu in English. They are disappointed in Ip Man for supporting Bruce, and as a result, Chairman Wan refuses to provide him with a recommendation letter. Ip Man, feeling dejected, leaves the meeting with Jen, who promises to seek help from an American friend for the needed recommendation letter for Ip Ching's studies. Later, Ip Man makes a call to Hong Kong, speaking with Fat Bo, but his son, Ip Ching, refuses to speak to him. The next day, Jen takes Ip Man to meet his American friend, Mr. Wright, who steps outside to discuss matters, leaving Ip Man alone in the office. Mr. Wright declines to give Ip Man the recommendation letter, expressing concerns about not knowing him well and fearing that he might be an illegal Chinese immigrant or fugitive. Ip Man remains optimistic, assuring Jen that they'll figure something out, and goes to watch Bruce Lee's karate tournament that evening. After the event, Bruce Lee spots Ip Man, and they share a meal at a restaurant where Ip Man discusses the recommendation letter issue. Bruce mentions having a student who is a lawyer and offers to help. They're joined by Bruce's students, including Hartman Wu, a Marine sergeant interested in incorporating Chinese kung fu into their combat training. Some American karate fighters provoke a fight, which Bruce takes outside and wins. The following day, Bruce's student writes the recommendation letter for Ip Man, who takes it to the school where he hopes Ip Ching can study. However, he must wait for the principal, who is currently in a meeting. Wan's daughter, Yona, becomes the leader of the cheerleading club against the wishes of some club members, as the decision is made by the teacher. Ip Man meets with the school principal, who explains that the letter he submitted can only serve as a referral, and he'll still need a letter from the Chinese benevolent organization or a $10,000 donation to the school. On his way home, Ip Man witnesses Yona being mistreated by some boys and a fellow cheerleader named Becky. They physically harm her and even cut her hair. Ip Man intervenes, reprimands the boys, and escorts Yona to her home. However, when they arrive, Yona's father slaps her for getting into a fight, despite her explanation that she was bullied and had her hair forcibly cut. Ip Man tries to reason with Wan, but Wan insists that Ip Man doesn't understand the situation because he doesn't live in America and is unaware of the right course of action. Wan confronts Ip Man, accusing him of using his daughter to gain the recommendation letter and challenges him to a fight. They begin fighting but are interrupted by an earthquake. After the tremor subsides, Wan suggests they settle the matter at the upcoming Mid-Autumn Festival, but Ip Man declines, revealing that he brought Yona home to protect her, not to obtain the letter. Meanwhile, on the Marine base, Hartman Wu proposes the idea of learning Chinese kung fu to improve their combat skills to his gunnery sergeant, Barton Geddes, who is racist and dismissive. Geddes challenges Wu to fight their karate sensei, Colin Frater, and agrees to consider Wu's idea if he wins the match. Colin wins the fight, and as a result, Geddes punishes all the Chinese individuals on the base for Hartman's actions. Yona tries to help Ip Man by bringing a forged recommendation letter to his hotel room, but Ip Man realizes it's fake and tears it up, cautioning her about her father's potential disappointment. Yona confides in Ip Man, expressing her dislike for learning Tai Chi, which her father insists on. Ip Man suggests she perform what she loves, cheerleading, at the upcoming Mid-Autumn Festival instead. Meanwhile, Becky falsely accuses Johan of attacking her at school, leading her mother, who works for the INS, to pressure her husband to find a way to deport illegal Chinese immigrants. Wu successfully convinces his commandant to incorporate Kung Fu into military combat training and is granted permission to film the Mid-Autumn Festival for research. Ip Man arrives at the festival, declining Yona's offer to save him a seat with the other masters, insisting he'll stand, and encouraging her to perform her dance. During the festival, INS agents apprehend Juan from his home for questioning. Colin and his karate students disrupt the festival, taking over the stage and challenging the Chinese community to a karate versus kung fu showdown. Despite several masters being defeated, Ip Man ultimately defeats Colin, injuring him severely. Yona learns about her father's situation and, accompanied by Ip Man and Master Law, heads to the INS office. At the office, Andrew Walter, Becky's father, accuses Juan of providing recommendation letters to Chinese individuals using illegal identities, making him an accomplice. Billy offers to help, but he can't do much, and he warns them not to visit the CBA that night, as the INS plans to arrest everyone there. Geddes is furious upon seeing Colin's condition and vows to handle the Chinese situation personally. Geddes arrives at the CBA and easily defeats the masters there, inquiring about Juan's whereabouts. They inform him that Juan is in INS custody. Geddes then goes to the INS, demanding Juan's release and taking him to the military base for a duel, insisting on filming the entire confrontation. The fight starts with Juan holding his own, landing a few blows and matching Geddes' strength. However, as the fight progresses, Geddes gains the upper hand, severely injuring Juan. Despite the fight initially having no rules and being brutal, Wu intervenes before Geddes can harm the defenseless Juan further. As the INS agents arrive at the CBA, they find it deserted, as Ip Man has led everyone to Bruce's school for safety. The martial arts masters apologize to Bruce for their past treatment, but he assures them he holds no grudge. Bruce receives a call from Wu, informing him that Juan has been seriously injured in a fight at the Marine boot camp and has been hospitalized. Ip Man calls home, attempting to reconnect with his son, revealing his cancer diagnosis as the reason for his rushed trip to America. His son, moved by the news, finally speaks to him, and Ip Man promises to teach him martial arts when he returns. Ip Man and Bruce visit Juan at the hospital, and later, Ip Man confronts Geddes at the boot camp, setting the stage for a challenging fight, which Ip Man eventually wins to the applause of the recruits. Juan gives Ip Man the recommendation letter, and they exchange words of understanding. Ip Man returns home, teaching his son martial arts and recording his Wing Chun performance. The story concludes with Bruce Lee paying his respects to Grandmaster Ip Man after his passing in 1972, noting the increased interest in Chinese martial arts by the U.S. Army and the creation of the Marine Corps' Martial Arts Training Program in 2001.